Everybody. Welcome to our Earth Balance Response Team work. We come together every 2 weeks to do this work, particularly for the elements of Earth and for our own communication with them. Renewing, I'm hearing something here. Some kind of for the elements of Earth. Oh, I'm hearing myself reflecting back to me. I was wondering what that was. Anyway, I'll just ignore myself. Um, what we
You may
want.
have YouTube open.
I've just stopped the live stream. I'm going to start it again. I honestly don't know what happened.
I think, Kate, you need to go on mute if you're double checking the live stream. And actually, the live stream is still going now.
All right, I'll go on mute. Please forgive me.
You're all is forgiven. Just tell me when to start talking. Okay, now I hope you can hear me, and I'm not hearing me, which is good. Okay. Welcome again. The work we do together is invaluable. Many of you probably already know this because many of you are probably now feeling much more at home in the world of nature and with the elements that are all about you and within you at the same time. We are woven of these elements of earth, air, fire, water, and ether. They are woven in with us. They are continuously supporting our life. Our very bodies are formed from these elements. And this world we live in is formed of all these elements. We are intrinsically in this soup of light and love and companionship with them at all times. And we've lived for so long in a cutoff state from this, not aware of our familial connection with all of them. And now with the environment degraded so terribly, and with, for many of us, with our own humanity degraded in so awful a state, at this 11th hour, we have this chance to reunite with nature, to remember who we are. We are an intrinsic part of nature. We are one with her. And it's time for us to celebrate that, to live in that, to eat, sleep, breathe, and enjoy our lives at one with nature. So we have worked over the last couple of months with the different elements, and we've worked with the earth herself and with water, and we've worked with air. And today we're going to work with fire. And then in 2 weeks, we will work with ether, the great holder of all the elements, the great holder of all life. We kept fire to this particular moment because it's got some unique qualities that we want to talk about, recognize, and really, really appreciate. One of the women, Peggy, on the Grandmothers Council, pointed out to me that fire is the one element that cannot be polluted. That fire itself transmutes pollution. So when our bodies die, many times we are cremated, and the physical essence of who we were is then transmuted into air and into ether. Fire transmutes base material and gives heat and warmth so that we can live here on Earth in a climate that changes from time to time. So it is a friend for us. And it is also can be very, very dangerous as well, we know, especially those of us who live in the southwest of the United States where fires are rampant now. So we have to have this very healthy respect and reverence for fire and an understanding of it so that we can live at one with it. And I wanted to ask Peggy now if she would say a little bit about this pure essence of fire that cannot be polluted. Peg?
Well, this was not an original idea. I wasn't lying in bed one night and thinking, okay, well, we know groundwater can be polluted and oceans can be polluted. And it wasn't anything like that. I had heard another speaker bring up that point. And when she did, I suddenly had a new vision of fire and what it can provide in the way of ridding what sometimes seems, oh no, not the gargantuan trees, not the this, but there is in that, in its own way, an amazing cleansing, which in turn lays the foundation for new growth. As we know, trees that never would have had a chance in a denuded forest suddenly have seedlings that see sunlight, and life is suddenly regenerated yet again. So I just think of fire when it is in balance as a tremendous friend. And I had never thought of it in those terms before, other than the fact of, yes, I'm glad that I can turn on my stove and I have, I have a propane stove and I get, it goes beyond that. It's the idea of our bodies being these amazing metabolic furnaces that generate heat. Here in sunny Alabama, it was 20 degrees this morning, which is quite cold for us. And yet I've got my own little fire inside my body, and I could maintain that going out into the elements, as it were, outside for a while. What an amazing gift. And so there's just a purity. It just seems like such a purity now that I have a sense of fire as our friend and the great transmuter. And even when it seems devastating in its impact, and it is devastating in its impact, and yet even that devastation will reap new life. And it was fire that allowed that to happen. So I know I'm repeating myself now, but I don't know if there was something else in particular you wanted me to bring up, Sharon?
Oh, no, that was beautiful. Thank you, Peg. That was exactly what I was hoping you'd talk about. We are longing for this balance with all the elements, and they are longing for balance with us and with each other as well. And we, being in human bodies, in human form, have the opportunity to be the placeholders for this balancing work to take place. We're needed to bring this about. We, unfortunately, we're the ones who brought about the imbalance with our greed and our lack of understanding. We brought about this tremendous imbalance now that's created so much poisoning and pollution in our world. And whatever man, the human, has destroyed, man, the human, must rectify. And so it's ours to do. This piece of work of bringing about the balance is our work to do. So that's a great part of this work we do with the Net of Light, is accepting our responsibility to be the placeholders to bring about this change and going forward and doing that work. There's no one to wait for to do this work. We're waiting for our very own selves to step into the position and do it. So right now, we'll go in together and we'll do a little bit of work to begin to bring in this much longed for harmonic balance. And then after that, then we'll talk to, I've got numbers of the council here today, the Grandmothers Council, so we can then talk and share what we're experiencing as we do this work. So we ask the grandmothers now and ask them to come right in behind you, beside you, surrounding you. Often when I walk into a place that's maybe a little not so lighted, I might be going into a government building or even into a museum or a graveyard, a church, some place where there might be old energy hanging about. I will think of the grandmothers encircling me in this hoop. And I find that a beautiful thing to do at any time. So think of them doing that with you right now, encircling you entirely. What this does is it seals your energy field. And so your energy field becomes pure light. And the only thing that can come in to your field of energy, which extends outside your body in every direction, the only thing that can come in is light. So, having laid down that template of light and lighted space now, we think of our union with one another, our union with all beings who seek the highest good, our union with all the sacred and holy places on our beloved planet. And there are so many of these. Some of them man-made, some of them made by nature many years ago, where the energy is pure. We experience our union with all the great lighted ones, the forms of the divine that are worshiped and loved by different peoples throughout the earth. And we call on the grandmothers and ask for the highest good to ensue here. And in our union together, we give thanks to the elemental spirits, to the elements themselves, earth, water, air, fire, ether. And today we ask fire to be very present for us. And in our gratitude and in humility, we give thanks to fire for its purity, its goodness, its generosity in warming us, cooking our food, warming our planet, the sun, Surya, blessing us with its rays. The fire within our hearts that lights our way on earth, gives us a purposeful life here and now. We're so grateful for the gift of fire. And to the fire, now we speak the words of the Hawaiian Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I am sorry for all my misconceptions. I am sorry for my greediness. I'm sorry for my forgetfulness, for my obtuseness, for forgetting how valuable and precious you are. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And we ask that this bond of understanding between us and between the elements grows stronger now, and that we have deep love and understanding for all of them, and now especially for fire. And we ask that you, fire, that you purify our hearts so that it's a fit place for the divine to dwell. And that we don't ever, ever forget who we are. That we are one with light and we are one with love. And we are the well-wishers of the universe, wishing good, wishing well to everyone. Ignite the fire in our heart to purify and blaze away everything that is not of the love, that everything is not who we are, to blaze away all fear, all confusion. Yes, we say yes to love. We say yes to light. And we give thanks for your presence, oh great purifier, great giver of warmth and light. And we ask that all may receive this blessing of purification and warmth and love. And we ask, fire, that you speed the work of the net of light, reaching throughout the universe, throughout our beloved planet, lifting and blessing wherever there's suffering and separation. That you reach in, embrace, and lift, and hold all beings in this loving embrace of light and love, warmth, protection, purity. Experience how your body feels at this moment. The radiance that you contain and that you are. The radiance that you call forth in others. The radiance that you broadcast by your very being. This loving radiance is cascading and shooting out the front and back of you, out through your head and through your feet, forming a circumference of light fire around you, blazing its way and blessing all that it comes in contact with. You are walking radiance. You are purity. You are light. You carry the gift, the intrinsic gift of fire. Beloved, fire. As you sit in this now, every now and then we do this to learn a little more. So we'll do it now. As you sit in this radiance of light fire, ask the grandmothers to teach you how you can absorb even more of this, how you can be a home place for even more of this radiance. And just notice what that's like as you kind of give your permission to receive what belongs to you. And if there are any places in you that are painful or tight, And just think of that place opening now and softening. Ask the grandmothers to show you how to soften more so that this goodness, this light comes in. And it will. They promise us that we'll be growing in our capacity to receive love, that this will be a continuous growth for us. So let's take them at their word and claim this. Claim it for yourself now. You have the right to be the radiant being you really are. You don't need to pretend that you're small or insufficient. Nope, you are beautiful and full. And so, just for fun, let's ask the grandmothers. Okay, grandmothers, show me now in this little exercise in receiving, what percentage of this good that you're flooding into me now am I allowing in right this moment? And they'll give you a percentage. You might see a graph or you'll get a number. This is just where you're starting right now. And so recognize that. And then, if you want to, you can say, and I'm even ready for more. I'd like to be able to receive even more. And just notice what happens when you say that. If you say that, what happens? Some of you will see or feel the obstruction that's in the way. That's okay. That's good information. Some of you will see the numbers shoot up. This will be ongoing. You will be learning more. You will be receiving more. It's good to know where you're at right now. It's good to know if there's a block, because you can go in later and ask for more softening. So there's more receiving. This is an ongoing process. They say you will be growing in your ability to give and receive love. We promise you that. So I'd like to get a little feedback from Diane and Kate and Nadia and Peg. Anybody who has anything, we have about 5 minutes more we can take for whatever you're experiencing now. Briefly share that.
Well, here we go. Am I coming on the speaker? Okay. Hello, and I wanted to share that a great hearth opening in my heart, and I was piling more and more wood on the fire with the grandmother's help. And then I became aware that something that had not occurred to me before is that from fire comes light. We hold up candles and we call ourselves beacons of light, and we talk about casting a net of light, and fire is a source of light. And I just feel, even as I'm speaking now, the truth of that and the beautiful trusting that there is more fuel being put on my hearth, in my heart space, to shine light. So thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Diane. I was always a bit afraid of fire, and I kept my fire a bit low and simmering. But because of this meditation, I could feel it grow inside, and also brightening and getting more fiery. And instead of it going outside or maybe out of control, it was centering in me, and I was getting brighter and filled until it nearly burst out of me. And I thought, oh, wow, I'm all fired up. And then because when my container is full and fired up, I can spread it out and pass it on through the net. And yeah, it was really amazing. And it taught me it's also important now and again to poke up your fire a little bit. Don't be too shy or poke up your fire. Whop! It's also good, to yeah. So thank you. That's what it did for me.
Anybody else? Peg? I can't hear you, Peg.
That's because I was mute. I so related to what Diane was saying about sometimes needing to poke our own fires so that we can give out some more heat and warmth and light. And that made me think about what happened about the percentage. How much am I being able to receive right now? And I got my number and I thought, hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then we continued with it, and yeah, the number went up even more. I'm doing really well. And the thought that came then was equally important, that as much as I can increase what I receive, that is proportionally, I think, what I can also immediately give. So if I'm feeling really puny and I have no heat and no warmth, there's not much that I can do to help warm anybody else up. I can't even keep my own self warm. But being able to receive and then allowing that outflow immediately, it's the same number. What can I receive and what can I give out? So I had kind of thought it in those terms, but not as clearly as with the exercise today. So it was very illuminating and warm.
So we're getting something from, anyway, go ahead. Nadia, did you want to add anything? Or are you good with?
Just a little, I'll just share what I felt as soon as we started this meeting. Was very, very hot. So the fire came in already. And with the exercise, I did feel the physical restraint in my heart chakra, and willed it to open or allowed it to soften, and it did. And then as more was being piled on, I could feel it again, and then also in my head. So I asked for more softening, but for me, it's all physical. I'm experiencing it in a physical way. Also, my whole body is still responding, but yes, I love all the other insights too. So, yes, thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. So, Kate, was there something else you wanted to add? Because I saw a message come in, but I couldn't read it. Can't hear you, Kate.
Okay. It occurred to me that, and maybe it's an intellectual thing, but as opposed to a spirit thing, but it occurs to me that the fuel for the fire in our hearts that is going to give us the most bang for the buck is the joy that we must feed. We must find what we can do to make our hearts fill with joy. That is the fuel for the fire in our heart. What is leading us to joy? And that seems like a pretty big revelation for me personally. So thank you.
Well, Kate, that just makes me want to sing. And with this little song, we will end our meeting until we meet again in 2 weeks. I think you know this one. Earth in my body, water in my veins, air in my breathing, fire in my heart. Earth in my body, water in my veins, air in my breathing, fire in my heart, fire in my heart. See you next time.